I'm now thrilled to invite Lynn and Sally up onto the stage, who are going to share a little bit of their story and about the project TransFamily. Please make them feel welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Special guests, family, friends, and graduates. Especially the ones that I've met this year, but I know there are some from last year as well. In particular, my friend Lindy Gillan, thank you so much for coming along today. Alex Mills has been a wonderful leader, mentor for all of us, and has led us through an amazingly enriching maze of learning. And thank you from myself and the rest of us from the bottom of our hearts. The project that I've been working on, in partnership with the superb Sally Goldner, is to set up a support group specifically for parents, siblings, family, friends of any trans person in their lives. This is a difficult journey, and my story begins, as far as this program called TransFamily is concerned, it began in 1997. My son, who was then 34 years of age, married with 2 children, rang me from his interstate home and said, "Mum, I want to be a woman. In fact, I am a woman." I almost dropped the phone in shock. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. I had no inkling whatsoever, and this was out of left field, I tell you. But my heart knew that I would support her in her journey. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to cope. And so began a 16-year journey that brings me to where I am today, beginning this new family support group called TransFamily. Back to my story, a couple of weeks after that initial phone call, my daughter was in hospital. She almost died. We made a rush journey interstate to be by her bedside. And sadly, for many trans people, their lives become so difficult that they may self-harm or even suicide. The statistics about suicide and self-harm among the trans population is just astounding. Sally will tell you a little bit more about the actual stats later on. I searched for help for myself, for my family. I couldn't find a support group in Melbourne. There was none. There was one in Sydney, which no help to me when I lived in Melbourne. I had psychological help, which was good. It taught me about boundaries, about self-care. But really, they didn't know what I was talking about. Unless you've been down that road, you've got no idea what it's like to live that journey. It was something so different, so unusual, with emotions that were so confusing that we didn't know how to deal with them. But anything that myself and my family went through was nothing compared to the journey for the trans person. They're the ones who need support. They're often discriminated against in society. They can be bashed, they can be abused. We were fortunate because our family and friends supported us and without exception were encouraging. But they didn't know what to say to us. They didn't know how to quite deal with it. They knew they loved our family member and they supported us. What we really needed was our own group. And although it's been 16 years in coming, it's been in the back of my mind all that time. And without opening doors, and Alex and the whole group who supported myself and Sally, I don't think I ever would have got to actually begin this support group. Now at this time in my life, I guess it seems like such a long time ago when I felt those emotions. Now it's like an everyday thing. My daughter's just my daughter. I welcome her life. I celebrate her life. And I'm here for any other parents, family, friends, loved ones, to help guide them through those difficult first years when it's so hard and you don't know which way to turn. And I just celebrate my daughter and all trans people who go through this journey and find life tough sometimes. But in the end they get there, and we do too. Thank you.
You and me and the tribe, we all belong together. I was only going to say that and not sing it, but Jonathan, being a quiet person, and Anna saying that singing might bring us even closer together, I decided to go with singing those words from the Hunters and Collectors song Far Away Man for the tweeters #Aussie Rock. Tribes include including a trans person, who can be trans people being anywhere up to 5% of the population, definitely belong together too. I offer what might be the other side of the coin to Lynn's story as a trans person who affirmed my identity and what happened with my tribe. Coincidence or not, I affirmed my identity in 1998, roughly at around the same time as Lynn's daughter affirmed her identity. Unfortunately, from my point of view, the sad but true reality was that my tribe didn't deal so well with my situation for nearly 10 years. The ice only began to thaw in 2008, thanks largely to a mutual connection between myself and my family. Happily though, it melted completely for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary in 2010, and I enjoyed sunshine in every way when I stayed with Mum and Dad on the Gold Coast, and therefore escaped part of a Melbourne winter for 4 or 5 days last year. For many trans people though, as Lynn said, to use another climate analogy though, life remains the equivalent of a Narnian winter of 100 years, as per the line The Witch and the Wardrobe. Whilst I would prefer to always be positive, there are some harsh realities that are negative for trans people. Trans Nation, a 2007 Australian and New Zealand survey, courtesy of Gay and Lesbian Health Victoria, found 87.4% of trans people experience discrimination at least once in their life, many up to 12 times, with a clear linkage between discrimination and lower health and well-being, as there is for so many groups. Further, I would just pause to give an emotional trigger warning here and just slow for a second so people may gather defences. A 2011 USA report, Injustice at Every Turn, found, quote, a staggering 41% of respondents reported attempting suicide compared to 1.6% of the general population, end quote. And those are the ones we know about. So, if trans families can keep one person alive, healthier and happier by creating more tribal support, it will be an instant success. I'm sure it can do much more than that. I'm sure that the group can share strengths of what specifically has worked, such as mutual connections, and other strengths such as resilience, courage, and most importantly, love. Personally, I'm excited because as an advocate for trans people, trans families will fill a major gap in support for older trans and their supportive people in Melbourne. I've had the great personal learning from opening doors. There are connections for me as an advocate everywhere. And I've been able to strengthen the belief that we are all people, regardless of attributes such as gender identity, culture or religion, and that we all simply want to have happier lives. So thank you to Sarah Burton, who you met before, 2012 graduate and colleague at Thalassemia Australia, who introduced me to Opening Doors. Thank you to Alex Mills, whose initials AM I'm convinced truly stand for altruistic mischief, for bringing Lynn and myself together. Thank you to the amazing Opening Doors team of 2013 for your love and support and comradeship and for voting Lynn and I to present today. May Opening Doors be keeping more tribes together for many years to come. And there's one extra bonus from the course. Lynn, I've adopted an extra mum. I never have enough mums.